do this. Let's see if we can upload crazy stuff. One soundbite. I don't know if I'll play it, but I'll just paraphrase it. I don't know what's the deal with The View, and people say, "Why do you care about The View?" So I really don't. But the latest, Whoopi and Joy essentially shared the same thought that perhaps, excuse me, Elon Musk, along with J.D. Vance, are conspiring in their own little way. This is how they talked about it. If I can open it up, I'll play it for you. But they essentially saying that, boy, have you noticed that Elon Musk seems like he is the vice president and that he might just want to be the president one day. And if I can get this going, I'll try. It's difficult sometimes because the computer doesn't want to cooperate here. This is an old piece of crap. I can say that because Jim's not in town right now. Not that he would care, but let's see if we can get this going. Dip, 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 dip. Moment amongst yourselves. Let's see if I got this. Let me turn it on.
Because
it's too low. All right, so basically what she's saying, J.D. Vance may be planning. They're essentially saying or suggesting that Elon Musk is so much more ambitious than Trump is that maybe Trump's getting in the way. Now, these are the yentas that go on each and every day that have to, make some type of legal clause or disclaimer. I believe this week, sometime or another, they had to do it 4 times in one show. I only bring this up because, the definition of insanity, according to Albert E. Einstein, is doing the same thing again and again, the same thing wrong, making the same mistake. That's insane. And to me, it's just like it represents the entire Democratic Party. They just will not stop. They know they have a core audience. I'm not saying it's half the country, but it's definitely a better percentage, and by that I mean more so than 50% by a long shot amongst women between the ages of 18 to 54. And that's primarily the type of people that that's the demographic that watches this show and has these beliefs about how Trump is and how evil he is. So they espouse all these, they suggest all these things, and it's just unreal. And I don't know if they had a disclaimer after this. I don't know if you can. It's an opinion. I don't know if some lawyer somewhere upstairs said, hey, you know what? There's no indication that Elon Musk wants to kill Donald Trump. Now let's go to a commercial break. I don't know if they did that, but that's insane to come up with that type of conjecture. That's just totally insane. That said, if you were listening to Greg Kelly today, he played I don't know if it was him or Kilman. I think it was Kelly. And they had a bunch of panelists there on MSNBC talking about how the best people to be running the country are women of color, black women particularly, because they have it all down and they can relate to the moderate voter. It's just really, all right, okay. And again, if I were there, I would say, well, let's look at a bunch of politicians that are currently mocking up the whole system right now, not to mention the worst mayor in American history, arguably, that woman outside Chicago who basically bankrupted the city. And of course, they someone would respond, "Oh, you don't mean that there hasn't been any white politicians that have been corrupt?" I said, well, of course there have been. That's been going on for centuries. But the small percentage of those in power that are women of color seemingly have some type of problem. The mayor of New Haven, Connecticut, for instance, stuffing ballot boxes continuously every 4 years, and she was caught last year. Fannie Willis, she's a DA down there in Fulton County, Georgia, having relations with her aide and lying through her her own Fannie. I mean, there's scores of examples of this, and yet this is the type of stuff that white liberals allow for in this case, black pundits or contributors or staff members of MSNBC to say on a day-to-day basis. And then they wonder why these companies are fledgling, why they're on the selling block. It's extremely sad that this is, again, another definition of insanity. They just double down. Now, going off in another tier, but not too far from that, I'm going to the NBA. The NBA, was it last night or 2 nights ago, they had the final to their in-league tournament. And that's something that they would try to mirror what the NHL was doing in recent years. And they say, oh, that's a great idea. We should do the same thing. Get more interest before January 1st, as opposed to waiting for the playoffs, which start in April and end like near July 4th weekend. Well, it was a complete failure. And why? Many reasons. The biggest reason is because guys like LeBron James never shuts his mouth about politics. So politics is one thing. He gets his son on there who is certainly not qualified. I don't want to get into the weeds about, basketball and why it's such a mess right now. But again, they keep making the same mistakes. So when they asked Commissioner Silver, who looks like Nosferatu, I hate getting down on people's, characteristics physically or whatnot, but he is the strangest looking man alive. And they asked him, they said, what do you think the problems, the low ratings this year? Oh, it's a political year. Oh, everyone was watching the World Series. Everyone was watching it was a 5-game series. Okay, so granted, it was New York, LA, but it was 5 games, and the ratings still suck. Everyone's chucking from like 40 feet away, 22 seconds left on the shot clock. This is going on and on and on. No one's going to the hoop anymore, and they don't see it. Again, I associate the NBA so closely to the Democratic Party for many, many reasons, because they are the Democratic Party. They are, of all the leagues, professional leagues right now, the most woke. I'm going to be getting a glass of water here. This just started, sorry. So, again, today's theme is you make the same error again and again and again, and you don't seem to turn it around. The View, MSNBC, and here's another one on CNN. There's a guy on CNN. I don't know him. He's kind of new to the scene, and he's kind of like there. Hold up. Oh, let me turn this off. I didn't prepare for this. I got here a little late today, folks. So this is the guy. I forget his name. Scott Jennings is his name, and he's a real pip. So this is of CNN's version of Fair and Balanced. So they finally brought in someone who's right of center that will actually challenge pundits or sit around the table like they do on, CNN tries so hard to be relevant. They're not anymore. So they bring this guy in. They try to bring in their own version of the 5. And the moderator is a black woman who runs it like a hen house. Like, oh, no, you go by my rules, or no, not at all. So this was the exchange between him and this woman who's saying now that Republicans, and for that matter, conservatives, should not complain anymore about mainstream media because mainstream media is conservative. And this is what she said.
The media discussed it. So what?
Do you know what I'm so tired of, Scott? The #1 cable news network, Fox News. The #1 paper by circulation, the Wall Street Journal. #3 paper by circulation, the New York Post. #1 person on the radio, Sean Hannity. The #1 person on the podcast, Joe Rogan. All of these people are Trump supporters. What media are you talking about that's anti-Trump?
You're not familiar with the anti-Trump media?
You're not familiar with the fact that you guys control for everything
of
from
all
podcasts?
the things I've heard you say out here, that might be the nuttiest.
Scott,
believe me, there's plenty of anti-Trump media.
So, again, that's another low recording here. And hopefully that went over on the radio. I doubt it went over on Facebook, but that's neither here nor there. This is, and if you heard him say that might be one of the dumbest things he's ever heard, and he's absolutely right, because what she's saying is that what makes conservative radio like Sean Hannity or AM radio, which I call Republican radio now for decades, so popular is that it was the only option that Republicans had. It was the only one since Rush Limbaugh resurrected or brought AM radio back to significance and relevance again back in the late 80s, early 90s. It's just been growing ever since. He, eventually Hannity went on there and scores of others, and I don't want to get into that. But in addition to that, you have Joe Rogan on the internet, which is essentially podcasting is a new entity in the last 5-10 years, dominated, at least the biggest numbers at least, by conservative talk. And then she goes on to say, well, and then you got the New York Post is one of the most popular publications. Once again, conservative. The Wall Street Journal, also conservative, very popular. So she's proving her own point, and she doesn't even realize it, that although all the odds are against the Republican base, and by that it means, you got the New York Times, you got ABC, CBS, NBC, and all their cable affiliations over the years, not just now, and all of them now are failing. CNN on the selling block, MSNBC, they can't wait to get rid of this. ABC, who owns ESPN, which also went political in the last 20 years, they just laid off 500 people. So you had that advantage. You had mainstream media on your side. But this bimbo looks at it like, oh, you had it all along. No, you didn't. These things were grassroots organizations, thanks to, once again, to Rush Limbaugh, and that proliferated. And then the only thing that really, really, truly succeeds now is right of center. So they're just cannibalizing themselves with their own rhetoric. So that was just one example. And I really do like this guy, Scott Jennings there on CNN. Some people suggest that perhaps he should be elected to be the press secretary for Trump 2.0. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll soon see. And the other big thing going on, and I know Danny talked about it today along with Jeff Graham on the Hotline Show, is the prospect of another government closure. How often do we hear this? How many times do we talk about, the threat of a government closure? Now that Trump's coming back into play, despite the fact that he's not president, he still obviously has a lot of influence on whether or not it closes or not. And then a lot of bright people have to say, well, that doesn't shut things down. The government will still be, people will still be paid. It's just that, you might have some museums and amusement parks and they might close, blah, blah, blah. This time of year won't matter. But people still make this argument once again, look, Trump's looking to shut down the government. Meanwhile, we got Elon Musk along with Vivek setting up with the Doge department, first of its kind, that's going to obviously cut down as much inflated government as possible. And they'll have a big problem with that. So it's the same old, same old. I keep on coming back to this vicious cycle here. It's the same stuff. They're regurgitating the same stuff each and every day, either on The View, either in the NBA. Everyone's just in denial. And also, you watch Steve Colbert. Last night, Steve Colbert was giddy about how the stock market went down 1,100 points yesterday. He didn't make any association to Donald Trump. He didn't say that. And in fact, I would assume it sounds like I watched Colbert to see how vicious he's going to get on Trump. He's not quite there, but it's a lot of it is inferred. So the first thing he talks about is the stock market went down 1,100 points. And you know where that's coming from. You know his motivation behind that. It's like, and that means the interest rates are not going to go down for the next 4 quarters. And hint, that's because Donald Trump's coming in. And then one more thing before I get to the first break here. I continue to listen to these crazy threads on TikTok. And, of course, thanks to my friend Liz from Connecticut for getting me back into that. Despite the fact that TikTok might be taken off the block in the next 30 days, who knows what's going to happen there. But it is very entertaining. And the amount of people that are on there doing their own live feeds, their own little podcasts, 99% of them are anti-Trump. And they keep on talking about the same thing. Taxes are going to go up, and your Social Security is going to go bye-bye, and that Trump is a racist, and he should be in jail for 32 indictments or whatever, felony charges. So, really, I'm feeling very, very confident that the Democratic Party will not rebuild itself and tear itself down like it should, by the way, and then rebuild altogether. The Republicans did it. The Romney Republicans are gone. Liz Cheney is gone. In fact, she might even be going to jail in like 6 months or less. So, in essence, the Republicans are now the Trump Republicans. The Republican Party are now, their foundation is based on Trump and Trump alone. And the Democratic Party looks at themselves like, there's nothing wrong here. Trump is a rapist. Trump is a bad man. He's nefarious. He's a racist. And he doesn't like, he's bad to women because he doesn't allow them to make their own decisions when they have unprotected sex. So continue thinking that way. Continue going on that way. And look who you got 4 years from now. The number one person at this point is still Kamala Harris. After that, it's believe it or not, Hillary Clinton, who at that point will probably be at least 78 years old. And then thirdly, might be AOC. So good things are happening to the Republican Party. We all know that. But the Democrats are still sitting in the mud, and they just will never seem to figure that out. Let's do a break right now. You're listening to the Live at 5 show. It's 5:31. We'll be back after this.
Radio advertising works.
Hi, I'm Mark Zagarelli, owner of ServPro of Jefferson County. We've seen our call volume increase into advertising with community broadcasters. When a disaster strikes your home or community, we're here to help 24/7. Community Broadcasters helps us to get the word out to you.
Call 782-1240 to learn more about how community broadcasters can help you grow your business. That's 782-1240 and get radio working for you.
Hey, it's Derek over at Visillo Hyundai of Watertown. This month, get a huge deal on the 2024 Hyundai Elantra with 3.99% financing for 72 months. All new Hyundai Elantras come with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, up to 41 miles per gallon, and tons of safety features. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's Best Warranty, 10 years and 100,000 miles, and 3 years of complimentary maintenance. So come visit us at Visillo Hyundai during December 7 days a week, or FusiloHonda.com to get 3.99% financing for 72 months on the 2024 Hyundai Elantra. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from everyone at Fusilo Hyundai. Right here where we will make you a huge deal.
New 2024 Hyundai Elantra SEL. Stock number 37040. MSRP is $25,270. Cost per thousand finance is $13.53 per month. Tax rate based on 8%. Pricing available upon approved credit through Hyundai Motors Finance. Must have 700 or better FICO score. Prior sales excluded. See dealer for detail. Pricing and incentives available through January 2nd, 2025.
At Coughlin Printing, we believe the magic of the season is all about connection, bringing people, businesses, and communities together. And that's what we've been proud to do for the North Country since 1886. This Christmas, we want to thank you, our loyal clients, for trusting us with your print and digital media needs. Your partnership and support are the reason we've been able to help local businesses like yours grow and thrive for over a century. As we look ahead to a new year, we're excited to keep serving and supporting you, helping your business connect with the community in fresh, impactful ways. From all of us at Coughlin, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a new year filled with success, joy, and blessings. Thank you for being a part of our story, and we can't wait to be part of yours in 2025 and beyond. Happy holidays from your friends at Coughlin Printing, helping you make an impact since 1886.
I'm Bennett Pisner with the Northern New York Community Foundation's Youth Philanthropy Council. The holiday season is a time of giving, sharing, and coming together for good. Since 1929, the Community Foundation has worked with donors to strengthen our communities by supporting local nonprofits that address the needs of our region. Our hearts are filled with gratitude for the many ways you share your generous gifts. Together, we're helping to build a brighter future at home. We appreciate how your partnership enables our work and inspires people of all ages. Because of you, students, youth, and young professionals learn the value of civic engagement and community. Thank you for the vital role you play to make Northern New York a more vibrant place for all. Please consider joining us with a gift to the Friends of the Foundation Community Betterment Annual Fund. Visit nnycf.org to help make an enduring difference today. We wish you and your loved ones a joyous holiday season filled with warmth, love, and gratitude. Thank you.
Yeah, we got some Scott. I forget his name, Marty Wheeler or something. And I just glanced on Facebook, and he made a comment. He's right, actually. He says Glenn watches The View and CNN for the same reasons why he listens to the show. Just to comment on it because he hates everything I say. I don't know if he hates everything I say. He's on there every day, and I appreciate that. And he certainly is prolific at his comments, many of which go unanswered, but that's neither here nor there. But he's right. Yeah. It's most important to know what the other side is saying. I don't want to listen to Hannity all the time, where Hannity's just espousing the same things. It's just like, basically you're just laughing at everyone, the same jokes that you would say. It doesn't get you anywhere. Like I always use this example, pay attention to the enemy and you'll know exactly what they're going to do next. So yes, I do watch The View to see where the mentality is coming from the left. And I think that's a cross-section of particularly women and these panels that this guy Scott Jennings does. Now, we might have someone that plays Scott Jennings on his own show. Let's see if I pick this out right. I don't know if I got a couple of calls on there. Hi, you're on the air. Oop.
Hello.
Oop. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Glenn.
It's Dr. Michael Schwartz. How are you doing, sir?
All right. How are you?
Good. So you play Scott Jennings. First of all, who is Scott Jennings from CNN? He is the fair and balanced. CNN must have said, "Hey, we got to do something. We're too far left. We got rid of Don Lemon. We're trying our darndest to beat the Cartoon Chat Network. We're not doing that. So they bring in Scott Jennings. Where did he come from?
I'm not sure where he came from. He's the lone Republican or lone conservative, I should say, on CNN, and he just got a job as well as a print reporter, opinion reporter for another newspaper that's looking to bring in conservative report. There's a lot of these people now, and I heard your show, that are starting to realize, hey, we're just not getting it.
Right.
People are starting to gravitate away. The ratings just aren't there, so they're starting to ask for conservative pundits to come on and bring on the other side.
Do you think it's too late?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess it's never too late for anybody, but, you mentioned CNN, MSNBC's on the chopping block. They want to get rid of these things. They couldn't get rid of them any faster. We reported CNN, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, it was on a Tuesday, a random Tuesday with viewers between the ages of like 25 and 54. They had the lowest ratings ever reported for a Tuesday. It was 61,000 people. I get higher ratings on my Rumble show.
You do. You
funny,
do. Yeah.
if you think about it. And yet their reporters and everybody on that channel is getting paid mega bucks to talk to 61,000 people.
So it's funny because Jeff Graham, who you don't know, and one day I would like to introduce you to our hotline host who's on each and every day, Monday through Friday at noontime. And we were talking about that. How in the world, I mean, maybe 10 years ago, they could afford guys like Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, millions and millions of dollars. MSNBC pays Rachel Maddow $25 million a year just to do one night a week. And she had that leverage not too long ago to accept a $25 million a year contract. And then after she inked that deal, she says, oh, by the way, I'm only going to do my show on Mondays. And they, how does a company, get away with that? And how can you obviously can't sustain that with, in this case, like you mentioned, 60,000 viewers?
Pharmaceutical ads. You want to tie it all together?
Yeah,
Do you think people
true.
are really running to the doctor asking about that drug they have on TV? It's kind of amazing. Every time you watch a cable news network, it's like pharmaceutical commercial after pharmaceutical commercial. And I'm so glad that RFK wants to get rid of that, because I think people got to, get away from that. They're not their own doctor. They got to really, But when you think about it, why are they running those commercials? They control the media. I mean, I had this happen to me years ago when I had my charity, Hometown Heroes, and we still have it. We had said something that somebody didn't like. That was an advertiser on the radio station. And you know how this works. You work for a radio company. You've got people who advertise. If you say something they don't like, they threaten to pull the advertising.
Right.
It's quite people. I don't think people really realize what goes on, but there's a ton of money from Big Pharma that's pouring into these companies that they don't really have to worry too much.
True, but all of it is based. I mean, agencies buy this, and it's based on rating points. So why would they pay more than what they're getting?
Yeah, I think they're losing money. They want to get rid of these companies, like you said. We'll see what happens, but they wanted to pull, as you know, the chips out of cars. They wanted to take AM radio out because they don't want. This is the agenda behind the scenes that nobody really thinks about, nobody really talks about, unless they're listening to shows like yours.
So, can I ask you, because we're talking to Dr. Michael Schwartz here on his own Two Mics Live, and of course his own his Michael Schwartz show on Rumble, the fastest growing shows, particularly the night show, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Do you ever plan on doing? I don't want to make you work any more than you already do, Mike. But do you plan on doing Tuesdays and Thursdays as well going forward?
I do 8 shows a week. I do 5 morning shows a week, and that's actually picking up now. My audience is growing on that. I think we had about 40,000 this morning. So the morning show's growing. The night show, we'll see. It depends. It comes down to advertising and money. It's hard. We got 3 people on the show.
Right.
We all work our butts off, and we're pulling the news every day, in addition to everything else that we do.
Right.
I'm also doing probably at least, 5 to 10 different interviews, radio, TV, podcasts, because I got a new book out, which Vaccine Fiction, and then the new book's coming out. I'd love to. I love being in the media. And I love too, and it's kind of great. You get people to call in and tell you what they're thinking right away.
Right.
I do the same thing with my chat, and I love that. I get instant feedback from people automatically. I get a couple hundred people in the chat, and they all want to type and tell you exactly what they're thinking, and you can have a conversation with your audience, which is great.
Right.
So you kind of know. I don't want to have pundits on my show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have experts all the time that tell us their expertise on whatever subject we're talking about. But I like talking to real people every day that have their finger on the pulse, that care about things like this CR bill that we're talking about today and shutting down the government. I want to know what people think. The majority of my audience today, in fact, I want to say about 99% of them said shut it down. They don't really care.
Right. Oh, and again, we with this whole Doge deal, we obviously have to shut down a good part of government anyway because it's just wasteful spending. It's not getting us anywhere. So we're becoming more and more educated. But like I was talking about earlier, and I got to ask you, when this woman on CNN's talking to Scott Jennings about, well, Scott, she's basically saying you already have the media. How dumb do you have to be to not understand what you're saying? You're basically admitting that you had the upper hand. You had a better card, a deck of cards, or a hand in you, whatever. You were better at it 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago when you dominated everything with liberal policies, liberal media, and you lost that. How can she look at it this way, in your opinion?
They all live in their own bubble. I think they all watch their own channels and don't look outside. We try to look at, I know you do as well. I hear what you're playing. You quoted MSNBC before. I play stuff every day that's from outside of what my bubble is because I want to know what the opposition is saying. I want to know what everybody's thinking so we can formulate our own opinions. I think that's how Roger Ailes kind of set up Fox News in the first place, fair and balanced. That's what they wanted to do.
Right.
It might have strayed away a little bit. You're going to see, with different ownership and,
Yeah.
and the Murdochs now when his son takes over. So you're always going to get outside influence. But I think a lot of these people live in their own bubble, and they don't pay attention to what anybody else is saying, and they believe their own BS after a while.
So mainstream media. We're going to 2025. We're already in the middle of this decade. Let's say, the shows like your own, Rumble. You're on other platforms, of course. Joe Rogan, which, by the way, between you and me and everyone listening right now, I still don't understand his popularity. But needless to say, he is extremely popular. And I get that. So more time spent, people are walking away from mainstream media. The average kid between the ages of 18 and 34 hardly owns a TV set these days. So by the year 2030, what is mainstream media going to look like?
That's a great question, and we always wonder. Everybody's starting to gravitate toward alternative sites and media. I worry about the TikToks because a lot of kids get their they get their news from TikTok.
Right.
All these other, internet, beyond the fact of watching shows and listening to discussions, they get them in like these 15-second clips.
Right.
So what could you really put in a 15-second clip except a fallacious headline that everybody gravitates to, and then nobody really knows the nooks and crannies of the story?
Right.
That's what I worry about. And it's the attention span of the person, and we try to do that when we talk to the Rumble executives when we first started. They said we love your format because what we do is this ADD format. And it's, you're spending 2 minutes on a story, 5 minutes on a story, you're jumping around. Sometimes those long-form interviews tune people out.
I agree.
Although sometimes when you're talking about, a subject as delicate as COVID or, how government functions at CR, you want to hear those long-form interviews. The problem with these young kids is they don't have the attention span to listen to that.
No.
So, it's hard enough to get them to tune into your hour-long radio show, Glenn, even though you're doing a multitude of different subjects. People's attention span is this Google instant gratification world, and I think that's what you're going to see more of in the next coming cycles. But that's kind of scary if you think about it.
Yeah, and by the way, and you and I have talked about this. I run into this myself. Sometimes when you give someone, like, it could be a caller, it could be someone that I rarely have people call in other than my normal call-ins with with Joe Stanley and whatnot, and we have Jerry Manor. These are all helpful things where good discussions. But I have noticed when some people, including callers, call in, it's tune-out time. And I pick on some of them, but talking too long about things that are not relevant anymore. And sometimes when you bring in a guest that you want to hear from them, and they're just not going to, they're not going to build that bridge between, say, 10 minutes into your show, and they might be on for 10, 15 minutes. You don't know how many people are going to be with you by the end of that conversation. So in your case, speaking with Mike and your wife, Kelly, and the banter you do with the guy from Canada, by the way, what's his name? Giuseppe? What's his name again?
Yeah, sure, Terry Condio is his name, yes.
But what do you call him? You call him something else.
His screen name is Giuseppe, and then he was a fan of the show. He actually was a fan of my book. He wrote to me one day, told me how much he loved the book, and I said, you might like the show. He started tuning in. He was watching every day.
Yeah.
And I found that guy, one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He reads a book a week and said, why don't you come on as our breaking news guy? And that's how Terry Condio, the screen name Giuseppe, is with us.
And I tell you, and I'm being very genuine when I say this, he is an incredible asset to your show because he knows when to come in. He's very germane. He's very pertinent to whatever you guys are talking about, something hot off the press. He's got something crazy in the background, and he's all ready to go. We're not looking up his nostrils, like in so many cases when I look at podcasts. And he's ready to go, and he's very attentive. He is an incredible addition to your show, and boy, that is a home run with
he's from Canada.
Yeah, from the northwest part of Canada. He's 3 hours behind everything.
He's in Vancouver, but a lot of Canadians kind of live vicariously through American politics because, they got their own problems up there. When you talk about Trudeau, and I know how close you are to Canada.
Yeah, sure.
But, I mean, they see what we have down here, and they're fascinated by the nonsense.
So, real quick on the Trudeau thing, does he make it by Inauguration Day? I mean, our inauguration. Do you think he's going to remain in power?
I don't know. We're going to say, whoa, I got a dog barking over here, and of course I can't, it's hard to do a radio interview when you got a dog
I
barking
understand.
in the background.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Sorry about that.
No.
I don't know if he's going to make it. They're talking about him resigning. I think he's going to stick it out because what they're telling me up in Canada is that he is just so stubborn.
Yeah,
so we'll watch with bated breath down here to see what they're going to do up there. But I'd like to see him gone personally.
Yeah, I really do, and I would like to see the other guy, Pierre, take over. He looks like Steve Colbert. I have to admit, he almost looks identical to the late night guy Steve Colbert, who I can't wait until his ass is taken off the air in the next couple of years, because he's a complete waste of time and he's a mockery towards what was good entertainment at late night. Well, Dr. Michael Schwartz heard each and every night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with 2 mics live on Rumble. You can get it on other platforms, including Facebook, plus his own show each and every day, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock, the Michael Schwartz Show on Rumble as well. I know I have listeners watching you on a semi-regular basis, so hopefully I'm promoting.
They've been tuning in and sending messages. I appreciate everybody. So hello to everybody in Watertown, New York, and I do appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, and for whichever reason, if I don't speak to you between now and next week, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Mike, to Mike and also to Kelly.
I will relay that. Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners, Glenn. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Mike. That's Michael Schwartz here. Once again, always has good insight on what's going on in the world. Hi, you're on the air. Thanks for waiting.
Hello, Glenn. 2 things.
Yeah.
One, I want to thank you for having Michael Schwartz on, and
Yeah.
hope you'll have him on routinely. A great addition to your show. And the other thing I wanted to pass on is, in my opinion, I think the New York State Department of Transportation has done a very poor job of advising the public relations, concerning the Brownville bridge, the bridge over the Black River in Brownville.
Right.
You know, the manner in which that bridge was closed and how we were told about it, and no updates, at least that I have seen. And you talk to people who live in the area and all, what's going on. Nobody seems to know. I just think that the Department of Transportation, that's a public project, public highway, but the public has been kept in the dark, in my opinion. And I just wanted to share that. And that's it for today.
Can I just ask one? Can I ask one question though, Kilowatt?
Yeah.
I mean, you have been an advocate for the transparency on the Brownville Bridge, pretty much for the last 3-4 months. And other people, kind of text me and says, why doesn't this guy just, swim across the river? And obviously they're kidding, Kilowatt, you know that. But why do you have a genuine interest or concern with this reopening? And I know you just mentioned it, but there's got to be another reason.
Yeah, personal reasons. I use that bridge a lot.
Okay.
For recreation, I used it for work. It's a way of getting around without having to go all the way around through Dexter.
Right. It is a pain in the ass. I agree. And I said the same thing about the Chameau Bridge, which is finally open. Okay, so I will try. I'm going to ask people right now, anyone in the know, and by the way, Kilowatt, I know people that are in the know. Anyone out there that can either get on the phone and call me, 755-1240, or text me, you know my number. Tell me when the projected opening of the Brownville Bridge is. And hopefully Kilowatt will be listening.
Yeah, remember the projected opening was early fall. If you remember back.
Yeah, well,
these projects always go over budget, way over budget.
Sure,
and they always go way over.
The Brooklyn Bridge took 3 years longer than it was supposed to. Too. They couldn't find bedrock.
All these projects take longer.
Exactly.
Okay,
all right, thanks, Kilowatt. Thank you very much. I had to ask him. Hi, you're in the air. Dallas.
Hey, Glenn.
Donnie.
Dr. Schwartz, I'm glad you have him on there.
Yes. So, Donnie.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So, Donnie, I mean, okay, you sent me the thing. You can't understand. Look, some people make mistakes, even former mayors, even a smart guy like former mayor and good guy Jeff Smith, he gets pulled over for whichever reason, doesn't have registration. Is that big news, Donnie?
That's fine. I'm okay with it. I don't have one problem one bit that he's unregistered. I approve of it.
Yeah.
He gets my stamp of approval. It's fine with me.
There you go. All right. Okay. All right, fair. But, you're basically saying this should be a big headline.
Anyway, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
So
Good.
I just thought it was kind of funny that nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
Nobody. This is the afternoon. The police blotter normally comes out in the morning, right?
Yeah, I did. Jeff brought it up on the Hotline show, though. Jeff was looking into it. Jeff Graham. So, I don't know.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. Oh, see, you thought you were the first one to bring it up, but in fact, you missed the hotline
Well,
show
I
today.
listened to the hotline, and I didn't hear that part. Now, if you're right about it,
I'm
then
right.
so be
I'm
it.
not making this up. He brought it up, and he said it's no big deal, too, because it's not. I mean, people make mistakes. And
I mean, no, listen, I think it is because he's friends with you guys.
Well,
because News Junkie would make a headline over some guy who choked out some girl, that nobody even knows about. You know what I mean?
By the way,
and somebody who's the former mayor is on the police blotter, and there's not even a headline for it, and that there's no 7 News, no ABC 50, there's no News Junkie, there's nothing.
For expired registration?
Listen.
I'm listening.
He had a story. Jeff Graham called him to get his side of the story. Did you read the blog?
Yeah, I did read the blog. Yeah, what am I missing? What am I missing, Donnie?
Well, I'm just saying it's a good story. Listen.
Oh, no, you're talking about Jeff's...
Listen,
no, I'll read that later.
Just
Sorry.
like that realtor who just got busted, that lady realtor for DWI.
Oh.
How she's in your crowd. Oh, nothing. It was media silence.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that
But
today?
Some nobody who lives over on the lower end of Franklin does something. You guys got his picture up.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's rumor has it that the Brownville Bridge will be open on Friday. So there you go. That's that according to Facebook. All right. Thanks, Satan. Satan send that.
Friday, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
But I'm just saying, you guys have been kind of like tamping this down.
I know. I am interested in the realtor thing. Where do I find that?
Well, anyway, it's not why I really called. I wanted to talk
but
about
you did.
Dr. Marco Schwartz and just say, I'm glad you're having him.
Yeah.
I would like to talk to the doctor and fill him in on some things. He's probably listening to the show right now because he says he likes to do that, to hear people's feedback.
Well, but
he's
Donnie,
just scratching the surface of the rabbit hole of what's really going on. He's only just getting a glimpse of it from the outside. He hasn't really come down and taken a look at what's really going on.
all right. Well, Donnie, do yourself a favor. Go on Rumble, which you probably are. Go to the Two Mics Live. And
listen, hey, happy birthday. Was it tomorrow or the next day?
It's tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. But thank
tomorrow,
you.
then.
Thanks, Donnie. I appreciate it.
You know how I remember that?
How so?
Because mine's today.
Oh, happy birthday to Flat Earth Donnie, ladies and wait, hold up. Happy birthday. And then, of course, Big Steve is on Saturday. Happy birthday, Donnie. How old are you, Donnie?
Awesome.
How old are you?
I am 41.
41. All right. Okay. Your milestone was last year, so we don't care about 41. Just kidding.
No, 41 is like, oh, God, now I'm working on 50.
Now you're Tom Seaver. All right, great. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks. Gotta go.
Yep, no problem.
Happy
Bye.
birthday, Flat Earth Donnie. Hi, you're on the air. Thanks for waiting.
No, it's good. Happy birthday tomorrow. I just heard it from Donnie, but that's not what I called.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You heard about, I know you did because you were on with Jeff the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
About Mayor not accepting Cliff's emails or whatever. I seen something on News Junkie today, and I read most of it, but I had to get back to work, so I was like, whatever.
Right.
But apparently it's supposed to go to Supreme Court, or if it's just something someone wrote, I don't know. But
all over the place.
if she's disregarding his emails,
Yes.
and who else's, and they're docking the north side, and I live on the north side, but I don't care about that. But they were like, I don't know, you'd have to read it. It's lengthy, but Jeff was like, he said how you use whatever, and
right, AI.
I write poems. I would do the same thing, get punctuation, this and that.
Wait. Can I stop you for a second? And I mean this in all respect. I respect your calls. I love when you call in. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I have attention deficit. I have ADHD, whatever it's called, with the acronym. I get it all mixed up.
ADHD,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have that too?
Okay.
Do you have that? You have that, don't you?
No, I really don't. I just...
You go off into tangents worse than me, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, you have attention deficit, no doubt about it. You do, and I love it.
Honestly, my fiance and my kids pick on me about it, so I might, but I never got diagnosed. But I'm really smart.
I'm diagnosing you right now.
I do a lot of things.
No, that's good.
But-
yeah, go ahead.
But no, it's just I thought it was weird that something just I don't know if it's like I said, I don't know if it's something someone wrote and whatever, but
yeah,
right.
It
was just all of a sudden the mayor's like, oh, I'm not reading Cliff's, emails no more. And it was the other day Jeff was talking about it too.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it'd be like a Supreme Court issue if that's the case.
No, come on, it's not going to go up the ladder that far. It's not. No,
I think that would just be kind of redundant, ridiculous, and way to. I mean, it's bad enough they're already doing this. What the hell is that called? With I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word, but with what they're doing with Cliff, like, dude, just don't vote him in next term and just let him finish his term. Why go to all the courts and legalities of the ethics thing? Just leave it alone and let Cliff be Cliff and let the city actually try to do something for itself.
That's right. I agree. Yeah, let the people do a referendum or not come election day next November, and that's what Jeff has been saying. And yes, what you're referring to, of course, is artificial intelligence, and that's what Councilman Cliff only uses when he communicates or he comes up with some type of statement about his latest ethics committee or hearing and other things that are going on. And I don't see a problem with that at all. However, Mayor Sarah Campbell-Pierce does and says that it's disingenuous and it's really not coming from the heart if it's coming from a machine. I don't agree with that. It enhances the image. It's garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put in and whatever comes out is only more enhanced than what you try to come up with by yourself. That's all AI does for me when I write scripts. So,
and I heard you explain it and Jeff explain it. I've never used it. I've never tried to.
You should try it.
What you guys say is
ChatGPT.
Put your thoughts into whatever.
Free.
And I've heard Cliff talk before any of this was even a thing. Like, he knows his words. He knows how to.
Yeah, he's got word salads every now and then, though. Yeah.
So, and apparently what you and Jeff have been saying that, Jeff put in one day his top 10 reasons to listen to the talk show, and it said, whatever.
Right.
Somebody actually called and tried to defer what I think it was that dog park guy. I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But listen, I got to go only because I'm running out of time. But thank you very much.
I know it's you got to do that CBS News thing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, my friend.
All right, have a good holiday.
Yes, you too. All right, well there you go. And as I say that, my friend Johnny Truesdale is using his drone up in Clayton to do the Clayton Christmas house, which is good. One thing I wanted to do before the end of the show, I got about a minute and a half to do this. Hopefully I can get this. What's the most hated Christmas songs? They did a survey, the most hated Christmas songs. No, I'll be real quick. Number 9, Jingle Bells, which is ridiculous. Maybe it's from the Dogs. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Number 8, Little Drummer Boy. I agree. I remember watching the Little Drummer Boy when I was a kid in the claymation version, where the parents get knifed to death in the beginning. I'm like, well, that's for kids? That's 7 o'clock at night on CBS. Number 7, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That doesn't make any sense. Number 6, Mary Did You Know? Okay. And then there's a 3-way tie between Baby It's Cold Outside, All I Want for Christmas Is You, and Last Christmas. I disagree with all of these, by the way. Number 4, Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. I don't know why people have a hard-on about that song, or don't like it, excuse me. It's a family show, Glenn. Number 3, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. It's a good melody. All of these are great melodies. Number 2, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I kind of agree. It's a bad hit, redneck song. And of course, number 1, Santa Baby. And I think the big reason why people don't like Santa Baby, and I just learned today that Eartha Kitt was the first one to sing that. And I never liked Eartha Kitt, particularly when she took over for Julie Newmar as Catwoman. She's always scared the hell out of me. But it's a bad song, so I'll agree with that. But there's your top 10 with the 3-way tie in the middle there. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Thanks to Dr. Michael Schwartz. Thanks to Flat Earth Donnie. Happy birthday, Flat Earth Donnie. And the attention deficit lady. And I mean that in all respect because I have it myself and people haven't figured that out. We're done. AM 1240 WE10. What this makes us legal. Up next, CBS.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Lawmakers have come up with another funding bill for the government, one that President-elect Donald Trump is supporting, but it will be a tough sell. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries.
The Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable.
CBS's Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill with more on the bill's chances.
I don't know about a consensus, but we do have a bill, and that is significant considering about 24 hours ago the last bill was completely blown up. So we do have text, and quite frankly, much of this new bill contains a lot of the language from the old one.
But it would also suspend the debt ceiling. The suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO is now in New York, and he faces state and federal charges now. Here's Bradley Blackburn.
Luigi Mangione stepped off an NYPD helicopter in a prison jumpsuit and shackles. The suspect now faces 4 federal charges, including murder and stalking. That's in addition to a New York State indictment for murder as an act of terrorism, meaning a crime designed to terrify civilians or influence government.
The federal charges could carry the death penalty. A surprise announcement from the Pentagon today: the number of U.S. forces in Syria is much higher than previously reported. And spokesman Pat Ryder says they arrived before the ouster of Bashar al-Assad to help in the fight against ISIS.
There are approximately 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria. As I understand it, and as it was explained to me, these additional forces are considered temporary rotational forces that deploy to meet shifting mission requirements.
In the midst of the holiday shopping season, some Amazon workers walked off the job today. The Teamsters walked the picket lines at several delivery hubs. Tita Patel reports from Los Angeles.
What Amazon is saying is that the actual unionized workers is a very small percentage of their country workforce, only about 1%. So Amazon saying this will not affect them. But already this morning, we have seen some non-unionized workers join the picket line.
The Teamsters say Amazon ignored a deadline for contract negotiations. Millions of Americans are already on the way to their holiday destinations. CBS's Manuel Bajorquez joined the crowds at Miami's airport.
This morning was very busy. Tomorrow morning is expected to be even busier. This is, by all indications, expected to be a record-breaking holiday travel season. AAA is saying about 120 million people will be on the move, the majority by car, but a good amount, of course, will be flying through the nation's airports.
The Dow finished 15 points higher. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.